everybody, Justin Worden. You're watching What's New in Electronics. We are here on the floor of SMTA Guadalajara 2025. I am with my good friend, high energy, the passionate, Debbie Carboni from Kyzen. Debbie, how are you?
I'm doing great, Justin. Thanks for having me on.
I am a little nervous because you just told me this is the first time we've done this. All the times we've worked and talked together, we've never actually sat down and...
Over years, I know. I get camera shy.
You and I both, but let's dig into the presentation because I'm bringing you right off the hot seat.
Yes.
I just sat here and stared at you, give a hour and a half long presentation. What were you actually talking about?
Oh my goodness! So we talked a lot about how far cleaning has come, how far the equipment has come, and the challenges as an industry that we really struggle with today. And that's all being driven by supercomputing. It's being driven by EV. It's being driven by aerospace. You know, it's not traditional military guys that throughput is not their biggest problem. It's really the reliability and meeting the production needs. And in order to do that, we're going to have to get creative, and we're going to have to do the research to support the ability to get the throughput as well as maintain that reliability.
The question I have, and hopefully we don't upset too many people, but as technology is advancing and the circuit boards are becoming more and more complicated, we talk about it all the time.
Oh yeah.
Kyzen constantly invests in new products, new innovations. Are the equipment manufacturers on the cleaning side doing the same thing?
You know what? Thankfully, yes. We have spent quite a bit of time working with all the equipment companies and really talking about, okay, what's unique about your machine? What kind of things can we address? What have you learned? What have we learned? How can we experiment together so that the industry is ready to really be able to deliver a reliable product at the end of the day? And what I'm seeing come up with designs today, we're starting to see next generation and braking technology come out probably within the next 6 months and definitely within the next 12.
And I imagine that's just going to put more pressure on companies like Kyzen and the equipment manufacturers because that new technology is going to be smaller, the gaps are going to be smaller, and it's going to be a lot harder to get in there.
Right, and we're also starting to see some other unique trends. I know.
Are you allowed to? Pause. No, I'm just kidding. Continue.
No, actually, we are starting to see some bigger packages because there's a need for more I/O. There's a need, especially with data centers and whatnot. You're starting to see larger packages do more things because remember, we want our electronics to do everything, and we need those electronics to be able to transfer that information to the data centers. We want them to be able to function more, and we do not want to I have a hard time talking on that one today. We have a difficult time, being able to meet that expectation and still the lifespan that it's expected to run.
Well, that's the key. You already have my question teed up for the next part. You talked about we want them to function, but the lifespan is where it's just important. We don't talk enough about that, I don't think, on the cleaning side. It goes. That's kind of where it transfers more over to like the conformal coating, but there is a huge bridge between cleaning and like the conformal coating where we talk about function versus longevity.
Yep.
Not only making it do what it's supposed to do, but for how long. And when you talk about those data centers, the energy pull, the cooling, they're hot topics that we're talking about. Those things are running 24/7.
They are 24/7, and oh, by the way, they have signal integrity challenges and much more. The reality is you don't have a lot of real estate. It's component next to component after component. And in the cleaning process, that creates shadowing challenges. And so we really have to work together with the equipment guys as well as the chemistry and understand that whole process, because cleaning isn't just a machine and it's not just a chemistry, it's a process. And it's understanding all of those influencing factors.
One thing I thought was very interesting, I'm going to wear my old hat when I used to sell cleaning equipment and used to work very closely with you. I saw one of the questions you asked in there, and it looks like you were passing something out during your presentation. I think the question was, do you know how many spray bars are on the top and on the bottom? My question is, did anyone actually answer that correctly? Because I feel like that is information they ignore sometimes.
They did not, and actually it was interesting. I saw a couple of puzzling looks on the face, but I bet you that they're going to be going back and looking.
Absolutely, because what is something Kyzen always says? You guys have great cleaning chemistries, you have great solutions in multiple industries, but what does it really come down to at the end?
At the end, it's providing a a repeatable process solution from day 1 to day 21 to day 365.
And what if you have a phenomenal cleaning situation? You have the best Camry, the best machine, everything's dialed in, but you don't have the best rinse water.
Ooh, rinse water has made my life interesting. Rinse water is just as important.
But you don't sell rinse water.
No,
Oh.
but I spend a lot of time analyzing it. One of the things that's unique in rinse water is we often talk about resistivity of your rinse water. The reality is that's really just measuring if you have positively charged ions and negatively charged ions, and it does not consider or measure in a sufficient amount of time whether or not you have depleted your carbon bed. And that carbon bed is what's responsible for pulling out the organics in that process, which your fluxes have, your chemistries have. So that can cause some issues. And there's a huge trend to close loop your entire rinse water, including your chemical isolation section. And the first thing to go is that carbon bed. And there's not necessarily a viable way to measure that quickly. So we spend a lot of time, when there are rinse water issues, making sure that we understand, is that carbon bed depleted or is it something else?
I'm going to apologize for that pondering look. I realized you said closed looping the chemistry section, meaning they're running the solution through the tanks?
Meaning the chemical isolation section. So you go through your wash process, whether it's a batch or an inline, and you have a little bit of residual chemistry that is in the piping, or it gets dragged out into the next section. That first layer of rinse, whether it's a single rinse that goes in, that has usually somewhere between 0.2 to 0.5% concentration of chemistry in it. That water, if it goes back through the DI tanks, it is going to have a minor impact on the resistivity, but it's not going to really reflect what it's doing to that carbon bed. Because again, that carbon bed is designed to pull out those organics, and your chemistry has the flux in it, plus there's some organics in those chemistries.
That's one thing I do remember from the equipment days. That little bit of soap can take those tanks out very, very quickly.
Yep.
But before we wrap it up, since we are down here in Mexico, let's talk about some of the industry trends and some of the changes down here. Because from the United States coming down to Mexico, one of the big issues down here is the water. So what are you seeing happening with some of the bigger projects, like with the inline cleaners and the water challenges they have in Mexico?
That is a great question, and I would say that every week I have a conversation about it in some fashion or another. It's working with the water manufacturers, it's working with the reclaim companies a little bit. It's also working with the equipment guys. What can we do from a standpoint of reducing the amount of water that's needed to do a good final rinse, as well as a chemical isolation, and what other type of technologies can we utilize to pull out the organics from there or monitor that carbon bed so that we have a process that we can reduce the amount of chemistry that's used or water that's used.
That makes a lot of sense. And now I'm thinking about when you said closed looping the chemical isolation. Is that part of it, the water challenges? They want to reclaim that water. I understand. Well, Debbie, this has been very informative. I even learned quite a bit more than I knew just 5 minutes ago. So for those that want to learn more about Kyzen or just get in touch with you, what's the best website to go to?
www.kyzen.com.
Let's try that one more time.
Yeah,
Debbie,
please.
what's the best website to go to?
www.kyzen.com, Kyzen. And thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Debbie.